Hey guys, what's up? This is Casey,
Hey, this is Coach Tom.
and this is Shot Science Overtime number 199.
We're right up against 200. I didn't realize they were that close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we want to welcome you guys for showing up here. This is our live show where we try to take a little bit of time and talk to you guys about things that will help you become a better basketball player,
Mhm.
maybe help you cut out a little bit of the learning curve. But, this is our time to talk to you guys for an extended period of time instead of just a quick tutorial video or something like that.
Yeah.
So if you guys are looking for the tutorial videos, we have a whole library of that stuff. But if you want to talk to us for this time, we'd love to kind of get your comments and
Yeah.
questions. And before we dive into that stuff, we want to ask you guys to check out all of our social media pages. You can follow us on Shot Science Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or wherever, Snapchat. We're on all of those places. We are Shot Science on all of those. So make sure you follow us. We do different stuff in different places and, different cool things and all that. And make sure that you check out shotscience.com because that's where we have kind of all of our main hub stuff. So if you want to check out the gear there, you can get a Shot Science shirt. You can get the Shot Science jump box, which is a training kit to help you train your vertical jump. You can sign up for the all access membership area where you can learn how to shoot a basketball or dribble a basketball or do any kind of basketball skill kind of at a higher level. And it's more in depth than the tutorials that we do on YouTube. So check that out at shotscience.com. And before we get into kind of our question and answer session, it's been a while since we've done one of these, so hold on. We will do a topic that we think is going to help you guys become a better basketball player, something that maybe, like I said, cuts out a little bit of the learning curve. So our topic for today is going to be 3 tips to improve your shooting accuracy. And while we're answering that question, we want you guys to send us your questions about anything basketball related. It can be on shooting, passing, dribbling, defense, how to talk to your coach, how to jump higher, develop your athleticism, whatever it is. Send us those questions and we'll try to answer as many of those as we can. And just put those down in the comments. And it looks like we got some questions from Alvin Bong, from Ben Adley, from Kyrie23, Gerald Kuzar, Sayla DePina, and a few more people. So keep sending those questions in and we'll get to them as soon as we can. And let's get into our topic.
All right.
So 3 tips for improving your vertical or for improving your shooting accuracy.
Right. Right.
So what is one that we might have here?
Well, there's a whole bunch of things that you would probably list if you wanted to, but we're talking about some things that we think are pretty key. We can talk about the feet, we can talk about the target, lots of things. But here's one of the things that we think is really important in shooting as far as is accuracy. And that is that we get the hand and fingers going directly toward the basket, to our target. All right, so we like to have emphasis on finishing off of fingers 1 and 2 whenever you shoot the ball. Too often what happens is that players will allow their hand to turn outward or pronate.
Hold on, let's get back to the fingers. If you're going to talk about the fingers, sorry about the sunlight over here.
All right.
If we're talking about the fingers, a lot of people tell you that the ball should come off of 1 finger, 2 fingers, your whole hand, whatever it is. Every coach or shooting expert or whoever is going to tell you something that they believe in when it comes to the finger release on the ball. When one of the competing things that we hear all the time is the 1 finger where it comes off your pointer finger. And, that's fine. If you want to do that, that's fine. But for us, that's an issue simply because you're having the ball come off of 1 point of contact when it comes off of your hand. And this is the last control that you have over the basketball before it's in flight and it goes to the basket. The problem there is that 1 point of contact, if it just moves just a tiny bit, that is amplified by the time it gets to the basket. So just a little wiggle here is going to create a problem. Now, if you have 2 points of contact when the ball is coming off, and that's what we try to teach, is that the ball is going to be much more stable. And when you release it, it's not going to have as much, room for air, and it will be able to have a more kind of accurate path to the basket. And you've created that by having those 2 points of contact. And you can hold the ball up just like I am and feel like 1 point of contact, that ball can roll around as much as you want. Now you put that 2 points of contact in, it's going to be a lot more stable and it's not going to have as much wiggle room.
Right.
And, that's how you throw a baseball. That's how you throw a football. Those 2 points of contact have a lot more control than 1.
Yeah. And really different finger lengths and whatnot may indicate that maybe you have three fingers finishing off the bed. It's just you want those three fingers to be these three fingers and not those three
Okay,
fingers.
so here's the other thing, is that your wrist is kind of a very interesting joint because it can do so many things and go in so many different directions. You can see, it can go, 180 any direction basically.
Right.
And that's a problem when you're talking about getting the finish to the basket, because people have different ergonomics, and maybe it feels better for them to go this way, or it feels better for them to go that way. But you need to finish towards the basket, finish towards your target.
Right. And we refer to that as flexion. We want to take and flex that wrist as we follow through toward the target. In fact, if you see the great shooters from the backside, you will find usually that hand is going right straight to the basket. One of the things that's so prominent about shooting is that oftentimes players will turn their wrist to the outside of their shooting arm. And what happens is that brings the ball more off your index finger, and we're not quite as accurate. Sometimes and that's called pronation. This is called supination, where we turn it to the inside, and that always comes off of these last three fingers. That's the only fingers that they really can come off of when we turn the wrist to the inside. All of them are both the pronation and supination are not going to be very accurate. Flexion is really what we want. We want to flex that wrist so it's going straight to the basket.
The ball is going to go where you finish.
Yep, exactly.
If you're finishing off to the right, it's going to go that way. If you finish off to the left, it's going to go that way.
Yep.
You finish to the basket, that's the direction it's going to go.
Yep.
So accuracy is improved by dialing in your finish, whether it's the fingers or just the flop finish too. Right? Okay,
right.
So what's the next thing here?
The next one is target. There's a lot of discussion among a lot of different people about what the target should be. Kind of a general thing that people talk about in basketball and have for a long time is that we should focus on the back rim.
Well, part of it too is that people think it's so obvious.
Yes.
Oh, well, you should shoot at the basket, but it is, people have different ideas on what the basket is because of how people visualize it.
Exactly. When we take and talk to people, we talk in terms of we want to take and shoot to the entire middle of that basket, and we want to shoot with enough arc that is going to be huge. Most people don't really know this, but the basketball is 9.5 inches in diameter, and the rim for a men's basketball is 18 inches in diameter on the inside.
Yeah.
But that's only relative to the amount of arc that the ball has when you shoot it. The flatter the arc is when you shoot a basketball, the smaller the hole becomes. And you kind of wonder, well, how can that be? Well, the thing is that when the ball goes flat toward the basket and does go in, it's going in the back of the basket. And so you end up with a target that's about the same diameter as the basketball. We can do that, but we can't do that with enough success over and over and over again for the ball to be effective. So we teach that we want to shoot the ball with a higher arc so that we're shooting at something that's close to that 18 inches in diameter.
Yeah, and if you need to visualize that a little bit, think about if there's a big giant bullseye that's painted on the ground and you're standing next to that bullseye and you're looking at it. What does it look like? It looks kind of like a very long oval. Now, if you go and you get into the cell tower next to it and you climb to the top of that thing and you look down at it, it's going to look much more round.
Yeah.
Same is true for this basketball. It sees in that same way. That angle of incidence is going to change as it goes up or down in terms of arc. So it's going to see more of the target the higher it is, just like you are if you go to the top of that tower. So you need to kind of think about how much available space the ball has in terms of that kind of view. It's going to have less space available with that flat arc, but if it has more arc, it's going to have more space available.
Yeah.
So you're shooting at a bigger target. And you're talking about where people are aiming and everything. The ball is going to go where you aim it.
Yep, exactly right.
So people want to have a tangible target. So they want to be able to see, okay, I want to shoot to that notch on the rim, or I want to shoot to the backboard because I can see it, or I want to shoot to the front rim or back rim because they can see those spots. The problem is that if you hit any of those spots, the ball's probably not going to go in, or it has a lower probability of going in.
Exactly right.
So our thought is that and this is what my dad has taught forever, is that you want to aim for the middle of that rim. I mean, it seems obvious, but a lot of people don't want to do that because they can't visualize that, or it's not a hard target for them to shoot at. But that's where you want the ball to go. And if you think about it, you just have to visualize again that bullseye, or that target, that dartboard being laid down right on top of the rim, and you're trying to put the ball right on that bullseye.
Exactly right.
And it may take a little bit of a creative mind to see that, but that's really what you want to do. You don't want to try to hit those hard targets, because if the ball hits the hard targets, it's going to miss.
Yeah, well, and that's really true, and there used to be an old adage, and probably still is in golf, that you never up, never in. And so we discourage the front rim as a possible target too, because what usually happens if we hit the front rim, it's not going to go in there either. It's going to take and pitch back. And once in a while, because you have a nice arc and it hits the rim, it will reverse turn and fall in. But the arc is the real crux of the whole thing for accuracy too, is just having a great arc.
Yeah, I mean, swishes are undeniable.
Yeah.
Banks or second chance shots or shooter's touch shots, those are not as reliable.
Yeah, true.
So you want to shoot for the swish, as somebody was saying over here, Chessmate was saying, and people always say that's so obvious or whatever. Talk to enough people, and there's so many more people that say, oh, well, I'm picking this spot on the back rim, or I'm picking this spot on the front rim. And that's fine if that works for you, but it seems like not the best way to approach it, especially if you are a new shooter or kind of in the beginning stages of shooting.
Yeah, or somebody who doesn't shoot the ball very well and needs to look at a change. I mean, okay, let's go to the next one. And this has to do with what we do with our feet. One of the things that is so important in shooting is having your body oriented toward the basket, so that your shooting shoulder, if you're a righty, is turned into the basket a little more. And that has so much to do with our feet.
Well, it has to do with your anatomy, because
it does.
Where are your arms coming out of your body?
Well, they're hanging on the side.
Yeah,
sure.
They're not growing out of the center of your chest.
Yes.
If they were, this would all be a different situation.
Yes.
So why do we have that slight emphasis or stagger to that side?
Well, because we want to take, and if you look here and just look at my hand now, what happens is, if I now consider that my feet are squared up to the basket, and what happens is that when I adjust my feet so I have a staggered stance, and I'm going to turn in my chair so you see this, now notice that the hand is in front of my shooting eye, or in line with my shooting eye. That's way more utilitarian than if I've got the ball out here. I was watching a college game yesterday, and there was a young guy who shot the ball really pretty good, but he shot it off his shoulder. But you'll find that when you get over here and you train yourself to take and shoot with the ball in line with the shooting eye, you're probably going to be better. Just imagine this, is that if I have a pistol in front of me and I'm going to fire it at a target that is out in front of me, let's say 20 yards, am I going to be more successful if I have the ball out here to the side, or in here where I'm looking right down the barrel of the gun? That's where I'm probably going to have better accuracy. And so we never want to have our feet so that we're squared up to the basket. Now, we're talking about how we teach this, because too often we're shooting off the shoulder. And so if we rotate our body, you can see my hand, and I didn't change anything with my upper body. All I did was change my feet, and now I've got a better address of the basket.
Yeah, and it all comes down kind of to the biomechanics of your body as well.
Yeah.
If you get all of that stuff lined up, and that doesn't mean just your upper body or your arm, your eye, and all that. It also means your shooting foot is staggered a little bit forward, your shooting knee, your hip, your waist, your shoulder, your shooting elbow, your shooting side hand, and the ball. And all of that stuff is all in line. And what happens then is that you will have a much more efficient movement, and you will kind of eliminate all of the stuff that you don't need to happen. And that efficient movement is repeatable.
Yeah.
And so a repeatable shot or shooting mechanic is going to be so much more accurate and reliable than it is if it's changing, or if it has all kind of extraneous movements, or if you have to go through kind of a routine to get the ball to the right place. All of that stuff is going to line up and be more efficient. Yeah. And if you're trying to shoot straight up, squared up, feet, in the same orientation, that doesn't make sense and it works for some people because they've worked and made it work for them. But that doesn't make sense for shooting with, you basically are shooting a one-arm shot. I mean, that's what it is. You know, a lot of people think that other hand has more influence than it does, but it doesn't.
It's got negative influence is what it has.
It really is just getting the ball to the right spot in the shot pocket, essentially, just getting the set point. And then it shouldn't have any influence at all. You're shooting a one-handed shot. Any influence after that is going to have kind of a negative complexity to the shot. So you don't want that.
Well, and to go along with that, you hear this offhand being addressed as the guide hand. Okay. And we don't use that terminology. We use that as an assist hand, because what happens is that oftentimes when we're shooting the basketball, if this is a guide hand, which we don't call it that, it's the assist hand, we're going to take and get right here, and that hand will pull off and release, and it is a one-handed shot. We can make that ball go much straighter when we're shooting at one hand than if we have this hand over here with that thumb flicking through the ball as we release it, because that pushes the ball sideways when it comes off of it. So we refer to this as the assist hand and not the guide hand, because it doesn't guide the basketball in any manner.
Okay. So I think those are 3 good things to help you with increasing your shooting accuracy. And, you know, even if you know those things, it's good to think about them and readdress them, because a lot of times people that feel that their shot is dialed in, they get complacent, and all of a sudden some little bad habit or something works its way into their shooting mechanics, and they wind up feeling very frustrated because they can't figure out what's going on. If those things are something that you incorporate into your shot, think about them, work on them, and then when you get into a game, don't think about them because you've worked on them in practice.
Absolutely.
So that's good. If you guys have more questions about that stuff, let us know in the comments, and we'll try to get to it as fast as we can. We're going to jump into asking or answering your guys' questions, and keep sending those in. Make sure you guys check out shotscience.com and follow us on social media. Just take the opportunity to say that again. We do different things in different places, but we would love to have you guys there and join Team Shot Science. So before we answer your guys' questions, we have a question that we ask you guys every single time we have one of these live shows. And it's really important to us because it lets us know where you guys are in the world. So the question is this:
where am I from in the world, or where are you from in the world?
Yeah.
Okay. We'd love to know that.
We are in Santa Cruz, California, which is south of San Francisco on the coast. And we want to know where you guys are. Are you from Japan? Are you from South Africa? Are you from Latvia? Are you from
Lithuania? That's our funny favorite.
Well,
it's not meant to be disrespectful at all, because the players from Lithuania are great players.
Well, Lithuania is a huge basketball community.
Oh, huge.
And we love to give them a shout out every time we can. And the Philippines too. That's another crazy place for basketball. We have Hope Kim from Canada, John D from Portugal, EMBG11, Bertrand from Istanbul, Turkey, Hiram from Brooklyn, New York, Kyrie 23 from Sweden, George Days from Serbia, Beast Mode M from Tennessee, Sayla Depina from Boston, Massachusetts, and Ahmed Khaled from Sudan, Akko N1 MVM from Serbia. Cool. I mean, you guys keep sending those in, and we'd love to shout out more people. If you could, go tell your friends and family to check us out if they're into anything basketball, and we'll get back to more where you guys are from. Love to hear that stuff. And that's all over the world.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, this one's from Alvin Bong. Alvin says, greetings from Malaysia. One question. Most of the tutorials said practice at game speed. I know sometimes it can be frustrating, but do we learn from it if we keep missing shots from game speed practice, or should we slow it down a little bit? By the way, it's 5 a.m. here in my country, and I set a notification for you guys just to wake up myself to listen to advice and tips. Awesome.
All right. That's cool.
Okay.
Well, to address your question.
Well, one thing I will say is that we never said you should practice mostly at game speed. That's only part of the equation.
Exactly right. One of the things that we want to do, and this gets back to what we refer to as the 3 pillars of practice. One of them, the very first pillar, has to do with learning how to do things. If it's shooting,
in your mechanics,
dialing in the mechanics so that they all start to function for you in a good manner. And I wouldn't expect that you would leave that before you have that pretty well dialed in. You can find all this on our YouTube channel tutorials as well.
An example of that would be doing the form shooting drill. and you can see that it's almost clinical. You're
is.
trying to par down everything, remove all the external influences, and just work on your mechanics,
Right.
slowly getting it all dialed in. The
And
second pillar. Oh, go ahead.
well, let me go back a little bit more on that. That particular form shooting drill, also, you want to be pretty tough on yourself. We start everybody off with that in our first lesson. At the end of the lesson, that's what we go to. And our instruction to them is, don't accept the ball of the shot just because it went in the basket. What you want to do is make sure that the elements that are important for that to be successful are developed, and you are working on to get them to be better and better. Because what will happen as those elements of your shot have improved, your shot accuracy is going to improve. And then the other thing, this is all about muscle memory. What we want to do is, first of all, we want to disturb or destroy your old muscle memory, because if it's not functioning very well, get rid of it and establish a new set of muscle memory that will allow you to get this thing to do what you want it to do. As you get better and better and you are tough on yourself, well, here's the conversation we have. What did you think about that shot? Well, I thought it was good because it went in the basket. Nope, it was flat. Okay, and the next time we come up and we shoot it, what did you think about that? Well, I thought it was pretty good. It didn't go basket, but it felt good. But you pronated with your wrist out to the side. So we kind of take and chip away so that okay, I got it. And what they're trying to do now is to focus and get that set of mechanics that are going to work for them. And so then once you have that particular part of the shot pulled together with good footwork and whatnot, then practicing at a higher rate of speed.
Well,
you don't want to do that until you've got things pretty much
Curry or Joe Schmo. You still go back and do this first pillar practice, because that, again, that helps you eliminate that kind of bad habit that will start to work into your shot. And you hear about it all the time. You know, these amazing shooters that suddenly they have, you know, these 10, 12, 13 game streaks where they just cannot hit anything.
Right.
And that's usually because they have some issue that pops up.
Well,
and you know,
and to go in that direction too, we often have players who are our students over a period of time, and they'll call, hey, coach, I don't know what's the matter with my shot, but I can't do this and I can't do that. Okay, so we'll schedule a meeting. Okay, and so we watch them shoot for a little bit, and usually the problem is very obvious to us, but not obvious to the person who's trying to do it. And so we can say, okay, this is something I think we need to take and work on. And as they begin to work on it, you can see that shot mechanics start to come back for them, and they're starting to feel a lot better about it. Not that we do magic or anything, but we've been doing this for so long and have it pretty well dialed into our own brains that these are the things you do and these are the things you don't do.
Okay. And so then moving on to the second pillar of practice, that's the game speed, game intensity work. And so you're taking the things you learned in the first pillar and amping it up to game speed.
Exactly.
And that means that you progressively get there too. It doesn't mean just you go from 0 to 60 all in one step. You work it up. You know, you go from 0 to 5 to 10 to 15, you work it up to game speed. And, you know, the thing is too, is that you're talking about, you know, how you kind of are frustrated because you've rushed it or whatever. And the thing is that you're not trying to rush your shooting or you rush whatever you're trying to do. You're trying to work it up to speed without losing that kind of, you know, quality of mechanic.
Right. And you can overdo that. You know, when you start trying to go at game speed, sometimes we get this in our mind, I've got to shoot faster. Well, no, you want to take and shoot quickly with something that is very effective. That's
efficiency is really the key.
Yeah, it really is a key. And if you're trying to take and just, I have students and I even have coaches that I'm in contact from time to time, that guy's got to shoot the ball faster. And my comment usually is, no, he doesn't need to shoot it faster. He needs to shoot that more efficiently. And they don't necessarily
and learn to create space.
And they don't necessarily buy into that. But the thing is, in our mind, that is the important element. We want to be efficient with everything that we do in that shooting stroke.
Okay, and the third pillar, as I get blinded by the sun, is to do actual game experience. So pick up games, school games, whatever it is, any kind of game that you're facing competition with, and using the things that you learned in the first two pillars really is important in making sure that when you get into a game that counts, that you've actually been there before. You're not doing something for the first time in front of everybody, and it's scary. So that game experience. And the thing about it is that you have to have a healthy balance of all three of pillars. You can't focus on one. You can't just do one. You need to have a healthy focus on all three of them. And it doesn't matter if you are, an NBA 14-year veteran, you're still doing that, or if you are a beginner. Okay, let's move through these a little bit more quickly. That was a big delve into that one.
It was.
Okay, this is Kyrie 23 says, any tips for extending your shooting range? A lot. You have to progressively do it.
Yeah, you do. One of the things that players are kind of into is the idea, I want to shoot threes. Okay, and the three is a seductress, because we want to get out there and show people that we can put it in the basket from the three line.
Well, people want to dunk and they want to shoot the three.
Exactly right. And the thing that really is important to understand is that, like Casey's saying, you start out short range and you gradually move yourself back until it begins to feel okay. One of the things that happens is that when we move back and we realize that we're almost 20 feet away from the basket, we want to muscle the ball. And that means that we want to take and get more power. And the power typically is coming from our shoulders. And that's not good, because what happens is when we use the extra power, try to gain extra power from our shoulders, we corrupt the shot. And we roll our shoulders and we overshoot it, or we undershoot it. And the thing you need to remember is when you're developing range, like we usually talk, all right, we start at 10 feet and then we go to 14 feet and then we go to 16 feet and then maybe behind the three line. And we don't do that all in one setting. This is something that you have to take and work out. And as soon as you begin to hit some of those shots at 16 feet, move back 2 or 3 feet. And then as you start to get those, the high school line is 19.9, so you get back about 20 feet and you're probably going to be pretty comfortable. But it's not a change you can take. Okay, I haven't shot any threes, and so now I'm going to move back and I'm going to shoot threes, and then you can't figure out why you can't make it when you can go to 12 feet and you just dump them in one after the other. It has to do with learning how to use your power, and most people don't understand that the power is not necessarily coming from our shoulders and arms, even though we do have power that we put there, but it's only about 20% of the total power that we use for shooting when we want to be effective. And so that means that the other 75 or 80% has to come from the lower part of our body, which you stop and think about it, that's only logical, because that's where the largest muscles in our body are.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to the fact that you can't progress your mechanics by going from 2 feet to 20 feet.
No,
you have to work your way back. And so much people these days, they want to have that immediate feedback. They want to be able to shoot, start shooting from 2 feet or doing layups or whatever, and then shoot the 3-pointer. You have to work on developing your mechanics, because if you just rush it, you don't condition your body to know how to use that power, and you start using that refined kind of upper body where you're trying to get all the dialing in and the accuracy and all that stuff. You lose that when you step back and you try to figure out how to get the ball there. But if you work back and you go from 2 feet and master that, step back 4 feet, master that, 6 feet, master that, and you're shooting hundreds of shots from these areas around the rim before you take a step back, you'll find that your body gets used to that in those tiny increments. And so you're basically kind of just going to train yourself to get back to that spot. And then suddenly you get back to 3-point land, and it's just as easy as shooting the one that was 2 feet closer. And so, it's you don't have a degradation in your mechanics. So you're not trying to heave it or whatever. And everything from your 2-foot shot looks like your 20-foot shot.
Exactly. And it all has to do too with how you use your power. And I'm not going to take you more on power.
We're going
talk
on
for
half an hour
on
long rants. We need to work on our answering efficiency here. Okay. Gerald Kuzar says, hey guys, thanks for the help over the years. No problem. Thank you, Gerald.
We enjoy that. We love hearing that from you guys too. That's great.
Okay. Sayla DePina says, I play down low during the game. Do you have any tips for me? I am new at it.
If you go to our YouTube channel, we have a series of post moves, post attacks, and different kinds of things that would help you in that regard. And I think they just go to YouTube to post
I mean, they're
offense.
already on YouTube. This is just go to our library and type in low post moves or how to catch the ball on the low post. We have definitely a series on that stuff. Some of the things that I would say are footwork and leverage and getting low and taking your time. Those are really important things in the post. A lot of times people freak out when they're in the post and they catch the ball and they don't know what to do. A lot of times people don't know how to signal that they're open. They don't know how to seal the player that's playing against them or how to read that player. Those videos will kind of help you with that stuff. But definitely, I think that the footwork is the most important part in the low post.
Yeah, it is.
And it doesn't matter if you are a 5'5" person playing against a 6'5" person. If you have the right footwork, leverage, you have the right tools in the post, like post moves and some counter moves, you will be able to do something in there to neutralize that 1 foot difference between you two.
Absolutely.
Okay. Ahmed Khaled says, how to increase the speed on the court?
I'm sure you must be talking about your running speed.
Well, I mean, are you talking about running speed, or are you talking about your quickness or your quickness with the ball? All of that comes again with kind of working things up to speed and
well, yeah, starting slow and learning how to be efficient with the dribble, be efficient for the passing.
Footwork.
And footwork is always so important. You know, actually basketball is probably more of a foot game than it is a hand game. You know, we shoot the basketball, we pass the basketball, but we use our feet to go places and do a lot of different kinds of things when we get there. So learning how to use your feet is super important.
And you can do drills to work on that. Foot speed drills, ladder drills, lateral drill. I mean, there's so many things you can do. And we have some of those on our channel. But it takes a lot of effort and work to do that. Another good thing is having a good first step. And we do some work on that in our jab step video and things like that. But yeah, it's just like any other kind of athletic training. You have to condition yourself towards it.
You do.
Beast Mode M says, how can I shoot better on threes? Practice.
Spend time on the good mechanics at that distance.
Purposeful practice.
Yep.
Let's see. Alvin Bong again says, regards on the set point to the release. As you mentioned in your tutorial video, relax your palm and wrist. How do you hold the ball properly and tightly with relaxed palm off the ball? Okay.
Well, okay, go ahead, Casey.
I think he's just basically asking, how do you hold the basketball? The thing about this is that you want to have a soft grip on it, really. And a lot of people, they'll either put their thumb up here or they'll stretch it really far out and they'll squeeze, like this ball's not really pumped up, but they'll squeeze it. So that looks really dramatic. But if you just have your thumb and spread it out so that it's opposing your pinky right here, then you should have a nice grip on the ball. And when I turn it over and you look at it, it already has that lift off of the palm there. And so it's on all my finger pads. And as you can see, I'm not really holding it very hard. I can pull it right out of my hand, and it really is just a gentle grip. I don't have white knuckles or anything like that. If I did, it would be like this. But it's really just a soft grip, having that thumb opposing your pinky and sitting kind of up on your finger pads.
Right. And the reason we get it up off of the heel of the palm right here is that we don't have much in the way of sensory nerves there like we do out on our finger pads.
You don't have control.
Yeah. And when we get the ball off of the palm, we get it up on our finger pads, and we've got a little bit of grip with the thumb and the little finger. That helps you control where the basketball goes. That's really important. Oftentimes we have this thumb laying in here, ball's flat on the palm, and the ball can just go sideways because it's not being held there by anything except the opposite hand.
Yeah, you don't want to squeeze the ball.
No,
because if you do that, you're adding tension, and when you start to shoot like that, that's when you'll get like the really tense flicking, and you don't want that. You want to have relaxation. You really just want to loft the ball up towards the basket so that when it hits anything there, it dies on the rim. Okay. Let's see here. Beast Mode Imps again says, when I shoot higher, I airball. Please help.
Okay. That's a real simple item.
Okay. Short answer.
Okay, I'll be short with it. When we release the basketball, we want to have our arm at about a 45 to 55-degree angle. And it's hard to measure all that. You kind of just need to learn where it is. And that's going to give us the proper downward flight of the basketball into the basket. When we elevate that arm back this way and it's higher, it actually uses what is called a bell arc. And the bell arc is one that looks like this. And that ball will always be short. And we get plenty of height, but then it comes out short. When we drop the angle from this really high angle here down to about the 45-degree angle, you'll find that you're going to get a better reach on the ball, and it will probably be right where you want it to be.
Yep. Okay. Acto in one. MVM says, should my shot always be a jump shot?
No, not at all. I have players every once in a while, they will ask me, well, should I just shoot a set shot here or shoot a jump shot? Shoot whatever you feel good with. I mean, some people feel really better shooting jump shots, and they're capable of doing that. Maybe the strength and all of that, they're capable of doing. Other players choose to keep their feet on the ground. And maybe they'll shoot, and they'll elevate as they're going to take the shot, but it's not like elevation is not like a jump shot.
Yeah.
So,
well, the thing is that it's not imperative that you jump in your shot.
Yeah.
Mostly people do that because it helps elevate you away from a defensive contesting, a defensive person contesting your shot. But you're not like required to do that.
Yeah.
It is a little weird to take a set shot in a game though, because you typically are not going to get that open that you would take that.
Yeah.
But if you look at these shooters that don't have these giant verticals, like we would have like Larry Bird would literally probably get off the ground just a couple of inches, or there's other people that are like that too. And it really doesn't matter how high you get off the ground. Some people, they get so frustrated because they want to, be like Ray Allen and jump 4 feet off the ground while they're taking a shot. And it's like, if you can't take your shot and be relaxed
and get it off,
then that's not a good shot.
It wasn't a shot.
And if you're doing that because you want to look like somebody else, that's a bad reason.
Yeah.
And if 2, you're doing it to be able to get your shot off over the defense, then you're not taking a good shot.
Right.
Like, you need to learn to create space. You need to learn what's a good shot. So that's one of those things where there's no like requirement in the score sheet for you to jump when you take your shot. You can do whatever. But the reason that people do that is typically because they're trying to get it off, and that's it's probably something that they're more used to, and it's kind of a quicker way to get the ball off and deliver it and stuff.
Well, 75 years ago, people didn't shoot jump shots much at all. Most all of it was set shots, and most of it was with 2 hands. And the game has evolved over the decades and whatnot to the point where it is today.
Okay, so let's do some quick answers, lightning round, if we can do that. If that's okay.
It's hard for me to do those.
Okay, but we're gonna do it because we got a lot of people leaving questions here. Okay. Alvin Bong says, how to visualize the middle of the rim. Since we were mostly shorter, it's hard to imagine us being in the sky looking down. Well, I mean, that's a creative visualization you have to work on. One of the ones that I think works really well is imagine a dartboard that you go up there and you lay it on top of the rim. Then you get down on the ground and think about how you're going to get that dart up there onto the bullseye. I mean, that's about as best I can think about it. Kyrie 23 says, how can I improve in shooting from deep? We already answered that.
We already addressed that, yeah.
John D says, coaches, from your experience, does shooting at a lower rim like 9'8" or 9'10" affect your jump shot? Thanks.
I don't think it really does if you go from one to the other. It might be a short adjustment period. If you played every day and hours a day on an 8-foot basket or 9-foot basket, it might take you a little bit of more time to adjust, but you would adjust pretty quickly, in my opinion.
Here, my thoughts on it are, if it's a 2-inch difference, like you're shooting on a rim that's 9'10" or something like that, that's probably not going to have a huge impact on you. 9'8", it's not. The thing about it is that you want to shoot at what you're going to see every day or every time that you step on the floor. So it's not optimal, and that, 4 inches is not a huge amount. It's not great, but you want to, if that's your only option, then go for it. If you are shooting on an 8-foot rim, The problem with that is that I think it affects your mechanics, because you start to have a different mechanic when you're aiming at something 2 feet shorter.
Yeah.
So,
but you adjust with that pretty quickly.
but you're going to have to do some work at doing that as well. Okay. Let's see here. Chandler Hunt from San Antonio. Denvi Star, our buddy from Moscow. Glad to see you too. Dan Dabrowski, our man from Philadelphia, or from Pennsylvania. Awesome. Dan, let us know if you want to get one of those hats too. Kobe Goat is asking, how can I get longer range on your shot? We talked about that. Yep. Sayla Depina says, any tips when you're doing a press? So when you are the defense and you're pressing.
You are doing the press.
Yes.
Well, it really depends on what kind of press that you're using. We've got man presses. We've got zone presses. We have combination presses. And so each one of them have some things about them that make them unique and different, trying to create problems for the offense. And so if we knew a little bit more about what you were talking about, a press, like if it's a zone press, we could probably answer that with more clarity.
Yeah. Let's see here. This one's from Scott Sloop. It says, how can I avoid turning the ball over when I pass?
Okay, that's a great question. That is one skill I think that probably is the weakest in basketball, that and shooting. And one of the things that we typically do when we're not very adept at passing the ball is we give away what we're going to do with the basketball. We have this little axiom that we use, and we teach this to everybody, and that is fake a pass to make a pass. Okay. And what happens is you find out that their eyes go to where they want to throw it, and they throw directly there. And you could be sitting in your armchair and probably jump up and run over and intercept it, because they give you so much time for that. We've been having trouble with our team this year. Yesterday, it was a totally different team. The passing improved probably 70%. And it had to do with this. Before they went on the floor, I told them this: make sure you fake a pass before you make a pass.
It sets the defense up.
Oh, yeah, it sets them up. If I look over here and make that pass fake, but I want to pass right there, I make that pass fake and I turn and get that one really quick. Or I don't even turn. I can see with peripheral vision right there, and I can make that pass pretty good without looking directly at them. So,
I mean, the thing is that if you're just passing without setting them up, you're hoping that you're quicker than their reactions are. Yeah. And passing the ball is something that takes a little bit of a startup to get going, and they can read that. So if you get them off balance or shifted out of position, then that's going to give you a lot more of a safe opportunity to deliver the ball. The other thing is crisp passes, none of that fluffy garbage. Make sure that if you are the person receiving the ball, that you set up your defender so that you can catch the ball and also meet the pass. Don't just let the pass come to you. Take a step into it and shorten it up. And that also makes it so the defense is following you instead of trying to jump in and cut that last section of the pass off.
Right.
Right.
One of the things that Casey mentioned is be crisp on the passes. In our game yesterday, we were being pressed and working pretty good. And then one of the guys lifts up like this, telegraphs the pass, and throws this marshmallow that I didn't think it was ever going to get there. And they were able to pick it off because they had time to see it coming. And we talked about that and reminded, I remember, Coach. And the next time we had that similar situation arise, we got the pass off because it was crisp. And he made the fake first. And you don't have to make an overhead fake. You can make a bounce pass fake and come up. You can fake it here, go down. You can fake it down, go right over. One of the passes that's most difficult for players to get their hands up and do anything with is a ball that goes right over the top of their head, because we don't get our hands above our head very easily.
Yeah. Okay. This one is from Adam Muhammad, who says, why does a skinny guy like Steph Curry have range, but a strong guy like Giannis doesn't? Okay. Let me address this really quick.
Okay. All right.
Okay. When you see Steph Curry on TV, I know he looks tiny because he's standing next to people that are 6, 7, 8, a foot taller than him. But the fact of the matter is that he is 6'3", and he's taller than most people when he goes out and he's walking around in the world. Yeah. I mean, he's my height basically when he's walking around, and I'm taller than most of the people that I see when I'm out in the world. Yeah. And he is not super skinny. He is a elite level athlete. So when you see him and he's standing next to LeBron, yeah, he looks tiny because LeBron is built like a superhuman that is 6'8" and 240 at least, and muscular and all that. But in real life, Steph Curry is a larger than average person.
Oh yeah, yeah. And not only that, Giannis, his game is really built around attacking the basket, slashing, dunking. And you don't see him standing back shooting many threes and being very effective with it because he hasn't developed those skills yet. If he ever does, he will be an even crazier human being than he is now.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a horrible shooter either, but the thing is that Steph Curry has put in the work to be that level of a shooter. You know, anybody can really do that. You just have to put in the work. And, you know, Giannis has found a lot of success being the guy that attacks the basket because he's the freak, you know?
That's the truth.
So it has nothing to do with like their body size and strength and all that stuff. Both of those guys are insane level athletes. And Steph Curry, if you see him in person, it isn't like what you see on TV when he's standing next to people that are 6'9" and 6'10". I mean, it's ridiculous. Okay, let's do one more question here. This one is from Red Kyle, who says, when I go to shoot, I catch the ball on the right side of the ball and adjust my hand to the underside or middle of the ball. Then I get blocked. How do I stop this? You have to catch the ball and really be ready to go right up into your shot and already be kind of working on getting those mechanics going. Same thing as off the dribble and stuff too, is that you are really already doing the footwork to get yourself up into your shot, right?
Exactly.
So if you go watch our shooting videos, we talk about this a lot, but the footwork into your shot is super important. It doesn't matter if you are standing there on the perimeter and someone's passing you the ball. You start your footwork into your shot before the ball gets to you.
Exactly.
And so what happens is that when you catch the ball, you've already taken care of your footwork and you're ready to go right up into the shot. And when you catch the ball, it just automatically goes right into your set point and you go right up into the shot.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any delay in any of that. And the reason you have delay probably is because, like Casey's saying, you're not using the footwork. If you use that footwork, you'll find out that you get the shot off quicker. Defenses can't close on you as quick just by using the footwork that we use. We call it catch and address.
And the other thing is that you do that, and then you have the option to shoot the ball. You have the option to attack the basket. You have the option to jab step. You have the option to shot fake and go. You have all these options ready to go. And if you're getting blocked, that means that you probably need to use one of those other options.
Well, yes.
Or set that up so that you create more space before you catch the ball even.
Or you don't have a shot.
Yeah.
You have to understand what that's all about.
Okay, and Alex JGJ, who's been here all the time, he's asking this question. I think is a good one just to end it on. He says, "Do you watch EuroLeague whenever you can, or just American basketball? What do you think about the European style of play?" We don't really get that much Euroball kind of influence here. We really have to look for that stuff. I like to look it up every once in a while and see kind of the highlights of some of those games. So we are aware of that, and it's awesome to see like kind of the skill level that the people in Europe have developed. And it is a little different than what it is here. And that's why you see some of those Euro guys coming over and they can like dominate in a different way, you know, like Manu Ginobili or Ricky Rubio or Dirk Nowitzki, or, you know, these people that, you know, they kind of come out of nowhere for us because we've never seen them before and they're just kind of top level already. But yeah, I mean, we occasionally catch some of that stuff, but it's not like a regular thing. Okay. Are we good?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
Thanks so much, guys. This is fun.
So thank you so much for being here, you guys. If we didn't get to your questions, it's not because we didn't like you. It's because we just ran out of time. Make sure that you guys tell us where you're from in the world. That's our question number one. Where are you guys in the world? Just tell us where you live. That would be cool. Our second question is, what is one aspect of your shooting that you need to work on, that you're going to work on today or tomorrow when you get up?
And let us know that.
Yeah. So where are you from and what is one aspect of shooting that you need to work on? We want to know both of those things. Make sure you follow us on anything Shot Science, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever it may be, Twitter. And make sure you check out shotscience.com. And if you guys get our Shot Science shirts, we will definitely want to see those. hashtag Team Shot Science, and we see all the people that post that stuff,
Yeah.
and we'd like to feature people that do that. So please check that out. And you can get the jump box at shotscience.com too. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you,
for
guys.
number 200.
For number 200. Wow. Wow. Wow.
All right.
All
See
right.
you guys later. Bye.